Michael and I are going to show you exactly how to activate the muscles of your abdomen and your back to properly support all of the exercises in this next series. So let's start with neutral spine. He's lying in a position that's perfect to find neutral spine. He's got his feet about sits bones width apart. His knees are aligned exactly over his second toe. There's a little connection between his inner thighs. I can't pull his legs apart. This is the way I want it. Now, right now, he's lying totally relaxed. He's in what we call a complete pelvic tuck. His pubic bone is much higher than his hip bones. So to find neutral pelvis, I'm gonna ask him to tilt his tailbone down into the mat. Beautiful, and you see how his spine got nice and long. Now he has a little curve, little space in the lower back, in between the floor and his lumbar spine, and that's exactly what we want, all right? We want that little curve. The next part of neutral spine has to do with the rib cage, right? Right now, go ahead and lay there with your ribs totally flared. Arch your back a little bit. There, perfect. That's exactly what I don't want. His ribs are poking out. There's no connection. Let's move your arm a little bit. There's no connection between the ribs and the floor right now. All right, so in order to get this neutral spine, what I want you to do is take a little breath in and exhale and connect the ribs to the abdominals. Beautiful. So he really now, you see he's connected to the floor here in the rib cage area. So with the ribs down and the tailbone dropped into the mat, he can really enjoy the natural curves of his spine. And next we're going to talk about muscular activation and how to wrap the muscles of the abdomen and the back around this natural curvature. So everybody thinks the stomach is one giant muscle. Well, shockingly enough, it is not. It is 4 separate muscles. You've got your transverse abdominis, your internal and external obliques, and your rectus abdominis. We're not really going to talk about the rectus abdominis. We're going to use it, we're going to work it, but we're not going to talk about it because it's easy to use. It uses itself, all right? So we're going to talk about the other muscles that are really important for muscular activation in this particular series. We're going to start with a group of muscles called your pelvic floor. Now, the pelvic floor is a basket of muscles right at the base of your pelvis. It acts like cement in your basement, and it's very important to stabilize the lower part of your body. So in order to activate the pelvic floor, you're gonna feel like you're drawing that basket of muscles up under your rib cage, right? And tight as a rock, exactly the way I want it. Now he's gonna maintain this activation. The next muscle I wanna talk to you about is the transverse abdominis. This is that girdle of muscle, the innermost layer of muscle on the abdomen. It acts to lengthen the spine. It creates a really nice waist, so it's a very important muscle. So we're gonna wrap the transverse abdominis by inhaling and wrapping that muscle around the spine. Excellent, that was really gorgeous. And again, hard as a rock. However, he still has that curve in his lower back. So he activated the muscles, but he didn't change the shape of the bone. That's super important. The next muscles we're going to talk about are the internal and the external obliques. Those muscles start up here at the rib cage and they extend all the way down into the pelvis. So go ahead, Michael, and just try to wrap that and see if we can get a little contour. Yes, you see a little contour here and here. Very nice. And those muscles will stabilize the pelvis. I think this one's a little stronger. And that's normal too. A lot of us have a little imbalance, but we're going to talk about how we can correct that later. Good. This feels good. Looks good. You good? You good. You're looking good. All right. Let's move on to the muscles of the back. We're going to talk first about the latissimus dorsi, these big muscles of the back, right, that stabilize your scapula, better known as your shoulder blades. So, Michael, go ahead and bring your arm down. And then what I want you to do is inhale, and as you exhale, draw your fingertips down towards your toes and your armpits down towards your hips. See, he got a ton of space between his ears and his shoulders, and that looks really nice. You're gonna hear me say that a lot. You're gonna get sick of me saying that. Pits to hips. That's what I mean by pits to hips. Draw your armpits down towards your hips. Down is always going to be towards your hips, no matter what position you're in. So when he activates his armpits down towards his hips, he's using this ginormous muscle that he has called his latissimus dorsi, and he's got a really big latissimus dorsi right there. Pull it down again. Whoop, there it goes. And he's got a great cut right there as well. The last muscle we're going to talk about is the serratus anterior. The serratus anterior starts at the back at the scapula, and it wraps all the way around the front, right into the rib cage. And that's gonna be your primary rib closer, okay? You're gonna inhale, and you're gonna exhale and knit those muscles together so that you're connecting your ribs into your abdomen. Great. So now he's got a connection, let's move that up. Got a connection to the floor here. Got a little space in his lower back. He's in perfect neutral pelvis, fully activated in his abdomen and in his back. Good job.